on Saturday.
Good luck.
15
Okay,
and a half.
we are on, guys.
Not ready.
Ready?
Oh, may I'll be the greatest thing
Okay.
ever. Once assuming you haven't run errands, it's fantastic.
I call to order this special meeting of the Scottsdale Unified School District. It is December 3rd, 2019, and the time is 5 p.m. Please stand. Board Member Beckham, will you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
The right.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We will have a roll call, starting from my far right,
Jan Michael Greenberg.
Sandy Kravitz. Allison Beckham.
and Patty Beckman. Board Member Perleberg will be joining us shortly. We have 4 board members present, and we do have a quorum. We move now to the approval of the agenda, and I would like to table consent agenda item G, approval of the award of request for proposal 2000 or 20004, dropout prevention and recovery programs pending further information. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda as amended?
So moved.
Board Member Kravitz makes the motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Board Member Greenberg seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. The agenda is approved. We now move to our consent agenda, and I apologize for being a little redundant here, but I move to approve the consent agenda without item G, approval of the award of request for proposal number 2004, dropout prevention and recovery programs. Do I have a second?
Second.
Board Member Greenberg seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes 4-0. Okay, now we move on to our first action item and only action item, 5A, the approval of the guaranteed maximum price for RFQ number 19019, construction manager at risk, services for Cherokee Elementary School. Dr. Creekar.
Thank you, President Beckman, members of the board. This is another one of these momentous events. After a full year of planning and a great deal of community input as well as staff and board members' input into this as well, we're coming forward with the proposal to accept the GMP for Cherokee Elementary School, so we can start putting the shovel in the ground. So with that, I'd like to introduce Dennis Rayler, our Director of Building Services.
Thank you, Dr. Creekard. Good afternoon, President Beckman, members of the board. Today, as Dr. Creekard said, we're bringing before you the GMP for Cherokee. This has been a literally year-long process. I look back and our first community meeting was in mid-December. So it has been a long process. We've had a very committed, I think we've lost commitment. We've only have one member of our visioning committee here today. So we've worn them out. We've gotten every information, every bit of information we can out of them. And so today we've got the team from CORE, our OW team, and Mr. Chandler down at the end to answer any questions about the process if need be. So without further ado, I'd like to turn it over to Mike Pilkington. He's the pre-construction services manager for this particular project, and he's going to run you through this presentation.
Thank you, Dennis. Thank you for having us, ladies and gentlemen of the board. So go ahead and start our GMP presentation. In the agenda, we'll review our current GMP with the variance from the previous estimates, our cost history comparisons, and logistics phasing and schedule plans. So our current GMP, we'll go back and look at some of the previous pricing. Our last conceptual estimate on September 11th, 2019 was 24.1 million. And we're going to go ahead and show you just how some of those numbers have compared from previous estimates. In the first column, you can see the base price, the variance, and the percentage. So in general requirements, which is essentially temporary construction, material testing and special inspections, final clean, that number trended up a little bit. Demolition actually was up as well. There was some additional asbestos abatement that was required on the project. Site work rough actually came down quite a bit, $122,000. Most of that was in the utilities. Site work finishes stayed pretty close to the same. Structure, that's all of the masonry, that's your concrete, that's all the steel. That number came down. There was pretty good bidding. All the subcontractors were hungry for this project. In the enclosure systems, same thing. That's essentially your roofing and your glass. In the interior finishes, that number trended down quite a bit. That's all the millwork, that's all the flooring, the ceilings, and all the metal framing and drywall. Specialties, which is all your signage, toilet partitions, and accessories, actually was up a little bit. We were able to include some additional vinyl graphics. In the equipment, that number stayed about the same, came down. The MEP systems came down about $100,000. There was also some pretty good competitive bidding in those scopes. That's all of your lights, that's all electrical, plumbing, HVAC systems. In the special systems, this number came down about $100,000. The district decided to take all of the security and access controls and do that on a separate contract. On the contingencies and allowances, we were able to include some additional allowances in some audiovisual systems, so that number went up. But overall, our number from our last estimate to this estimate came down over $1 million, and we're here to present a GMP of 23,040,730 tonight. So how that breaks down, we got 140 subcontractor bids amidst the various trades. That breaks down in the buildings, the demo, the site work, and the adjacent ways. So the buildings, demo, and the site work are all bond dollars. Adjacent ways is obviously adjacent ways dollars. So the buildings came in about $209 per square foot. The demo came in about $10 a square foot. Site work about $290,000 an acre, and all the adjacent ways, which is all your fire lanes and access, $473,000. Bond dollars totaling the first three of those, $22,188,647, and the adjacent ways of $852,083. So the next portion of the presentation is to compare just some of the other projects that we worked on for you in the district, to kind of look at what some of the final costs of construction for Hopi and Pima were, and adjusting them into if we were going to GMP on those in today's dollars. So, so for Hopi Elementary, our completed contract value was $18,322,000, adjusted to today's construction dollars with a 12.77% adjustment factor, would be a $20,662,000 construction value. 67,000 square foot, $307 per square foot. Pima, about $16.9 million. With the adjustment factor would be $19.1 million, or 67,359 square foot at $284 per square foot. But obviously today we're here to talk to you about Cherokee Elementary, which is a 78,441 square foot school. Here's a rendering from Work at Winslow of what the completed project will look like. So if we were going to put all three of those projects side by side, Hopi Elementary, Cherokee Elementary, and Pima Elementary, you can see the complete values. Both Hopi and Pima are 67,000 square foot schools, and this is a 78,000 square foot, 441 square foot school. And if you were to compare the cost per square foot, you can see that Cherokee falls right in the middle. Hopi was $307 per square foot, Cherokee $294 per square foot, and Pima Elementary at $284 per square foot. Next portion of the presentation is discuss.
Just go back to that.
Okay, sure.
Sorry, we were writing.
Yep. Good board member comments. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks. I'm John Thomason, Project Director with CORE. So I wanted to talk about schedule and phasing a little bit with, of course, the approval if given tonight. With the project, especially being occupied, time is of the essence, especially with the phasing, so we want to move as quickly as possible. We've been out to school with Principal Chandler actually today lining out where temporary fence would go, and we would, if with approval, actually being temporary fence the weekend of the 14th and 15th. Obviously, we can't put up fence in the playground areas while kids are at school, so we have to do a weekend, but that's how quick we want to move to make sure we can complete the school, the classrooms, next fall opening, and then the administrative building and the multipurpose building the end of January, beginning of February of the following year. So our phase one going quickly, and if you have any questions, please stop me in between. We would take over the southern portion of the school, Building B, the yellow portion surrounding it as a canopy, we'd be taking that canopy off because it actually interferes with part of the building. That's how close we are building to the existing buildings. And a lot of that is with the school district and Orcott Winslow working with Paradise Valley to maintain the setbacks, even though not you're required to, being your school, to meet the setbacks. You guys are doing that for the neighbors, which is great. I mean, I know with the community meetings, they've said nothing but positive things about that. So we're looking at starting the demo of some playground areas, some of being saved, and then starting classroom 400, which is on your far left, the west, and then 300 farther back. Starting that building 1st of January. We'd actually be doing the demo of the canopy over the Christmas break with obviously approval tonight again. So that'll be our first phase. This buildings will take us all the way through mid-July to complete, ready for the August start. Phase 2, school gets out, we pretty much take over the entire campus. The kids are out of the existing classrooms, the 3 buildings there you can see, we demo those over the summertime period and finish out the building of 400 and 300 classroom buildings, so it's ready to go for the school year next August. So August 1st, here's what we will have turned over. It will be the white on the bottom, like I said, classroom 400, which is pre-K through first, and 300 is 2 through 5th. The playground areas, the hardscape to the east, and also the 2 play fields will be turned over when we start school next year. In the meantime, we will relocate our areas to the northeast corner and then start the building of 100 and 200 as quickly as we demo the existing buildings there. At the same time, the northern buildings will be occupied by the school still. So we will have occupied buildings on both sides of us, but be able to segregate through the middle to make sure we have safe conditions for the students and staff at the school. Then phase 3 is when we are pretty much wrapping up. We will turn over the admin and the multipurpose building, 100 and 200. So all buildings will be turned over. This is when we'll start the demo of the existing buildings that they moved out of, and then also the site work that adds to the parking lot due to the congestion. This is when ourselves and Walt and the community will get very creative with drop-off and pickup, because we know it's a crunch already, and we're going to take that back parking lot away, so we'll have to definitely work with the community to just be as seamless as possible for a little time frame there. And then the completed campus, which, as Dennis said, the community has been very involved with. Orcott Winslow's done a great job, and we're truly looking forward to this project. So if there's any questions of Mike or I, we can have that. If not, we look forward to a vote.
Any questions or discussions from board members? Board member Beckham?
Could you back up to the beginning, and then there's a couple, I don't know exactly where the slide is, but maybe the 3rd slide? When you gave the GMP, maybe the next one. So you said the bond dollars and the adjacent ways then equal the 23 million?
Yes.
40,000?
Yes.
We were given different numbers. So we were told that it was 23 million, 40,000, and then adjacent ways was separate.
It's included, actually.
Yeah.
It's actually included.
Yes.
So is it included in the 18,462, Dennis? Because I'm looking at your form here, and it's different.
So I have to go point for you. That 18 million is the construction cost. This is a buildup.
Right. But I don't
So
She's talking
where
about
is the adjacent ways in here?
it's not in here. Their numbers, I separated it here. You've got your 852 there. So this is an addition upon addition upon addition
So where's
of
this
each of their
number?
lines.
So this number's an 18.
This number is within this 23,041.
So I didn't add these because I thought all these added up to
Yes.
that. They don't.
This. That.
So where is this number? What's on it?
In your,
Excuse me,
Mike,
are
you
you
got that-
requesting the
you got the
18.4?
GMP form?
If you show here on this screen, the base price of our GMP, that's the 18,462,914, is that
The
your?
adjacent ways is in that.
That
Yes,
is, yes,
it
the
is, yes.
cost itself
Okay.
is, correct.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Okay, thank you. And then the next slide, or not the next slide. So contract completion value, oh, okay, so you just went very fast. So the GMP was the 18,322,000, and then you just did an
No, the
estimate.
GMP was actually just under 20 million on Hopi. At the end of the project, we were able to find savings and give money back to the district.
Through unused contingencies and allowances.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
those
okay.
came back, so that's the final
That
contract
was the
value.
revised GMP,
Right,
if you will.
and then the next one's just escalated to today's dollars.
Right, I got that,
Okay.
but that was a different number than what we had approved.
Yes,
so
on
that's
both-
why I'm
yes, on both
going
Hopi and
back
Pima, correct.
over. Okay,
It's not really a revised GMP, it's
Contract.
it's the actual cost.
right, but for his
GMP is-
purposes, he's doing a comparison to
Right.
the GMP, so it's kind of a revised GMP. It's the actual
Yes.
that came out.
Actual cost, yeah.
Because the actual cost of the project was more than that, because we had the design services.
Yes, we're
We
just
had-
talking
we had-
GMP
You're just
construction
talking
costs.
straight GMP, and I
Yes.
want to make
Yeah.
sure that
Yes.
people understand
Right.
that, and they don't think that these are the actual
No,
final
we
numbers.
have no FF&E,
So,
no
since they were
design
different
costs.
from what we were
Correct.
approved, I just want to make sure. So thank you for clarifying that. Okay, those are my clarifications. Thank you.
Any
And-
other questions, Board Member Greenberg?
I see you all feverishly taking notes and taking pictures, but we'll get you a copy of this presentation.
Okay, good.
So you've got it, so there's no question.
Could you go back to the second slide, the one with the GMP, all the prices broken down? Yeah, so just a quick question here. You said on the special systems that the savings there, the 100,000 or more or less, is because the security systems are on a separate contract, have been removed and put onto a separate contract. Does it still cost about 103,000, or could you explain that just briefly?
So oftentimes, we'll do owner-provided work. So sometimes we'll pull out the fire alarm, security, different things that it's beneficial for us to specify that and to work directly with a subcontractor. It also provides some savings in that you don't add the general contractor's fees on top of that. So when we go direct with a vendor, Debbie and I have been working real closely with different vendors to make sure we're getting the best pricing and controlling the quality and different things about the project in those areas. Does that
Okay.
make sense?
That does make sense. Thank you, I appreciate that.
Okay, any further questions or discussion? Thank you very much.
I
Oh,
have one more
Member
for
Becker.
Dennis, please. Excuse me. So Dennis, then maybe I did read this chart wrong. So when we add in the design services and we add in the FF&E, what is our total?
On the right-hand side there.
So we're using the
your bond-
FF&E from those look like, those were the estimates from 2016 as they're categorized, but those are the actuals?
Those are the current budgets for this project.
We're spending $444,000 for FF&E?
Yes.
Which is.
Which we
so that's
haven't,
less
we haven't
than
done
what
any of that work yet.
No,
but that's
I
the
know.
current budget looking at that project.
Which is quite a bit less than what we spent on the other schools for FF&E.
We spent right around 400,000 on
We
both
did?
Pima and Hopi.
Okay.
Yep.
And, okay, and design services came in much less, so thank you.
Well, don't tell Tom. but
Not much less than what we thought it would.
we'll still be-
just much
we'll
less
still
than
be
what
talking,
we
I'm
did
sure.
on Hopi. Of course, we had to do that twice, so that makes
Yeah.
sense. Thank you, that's
Okay.
all.
Any other questions? Board Member Crowder?
I just want to make the point, as I often do, that some of us may not be asking questions because we've already met with Orcutt, Winslow, and Core prior to this meeting, and we asked our questions then and aired our concerns at that time. So it's not for lack of interest. Thank you.
Thank you.
agree.
Okay, thank you. All right, I move to approve the GMP for RFQ number 19019, Construction Manager at Risk, Services for Cherokee Elementary School. Do I have a second?
Second.
Board Member Greenberg seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 5-0. Now.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dennis.
Thank you.
I move to adjourn the meeting. Do I have a second?
Second.
Board Member Greenberg seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Meeting is adjourned at a record 5:21.